Hi YouTubers out there. This is Fortune Cookie 45LC coming to you with a annoying problem that perhaps a lot of you YouTube shooters out there have also. And that is, we have our very fine single action revolver with the fixed sights like a Colt style, and so we aim at the bottom of the circle and we fire, and the bullets are hitting high. Now this actually is not as bad a problem as if the bullets are hitting left or right, because if they're hitting left or right, the only way to really fix that is to take the barrel and turn it. And we don't have the ability to do that very well, so we actually have to send it back to the factory and send them a target, send them a few rounds that we have, and explain the problem, have them correct it. So if it's hitting left or right, that's not good. We can't fix that very well. But if we're aimed there and we fire and they're hitting high, we can actually do something about that. So normally if the bullets are hitting high, we will want to have a taller front sight. If we have a taller front sight, then the gun will be aimed lower by the time we line the sights up. Well, putting a taller front sight on isn't as easy to do also. But one neat thing to do is, if you have a desire to send it into a gunsmith and have them raise the front sight, that could be done actually with a nice gold bead. They'll sink a gold bead in there, and by the time the gold bead is done, it's higher than the sight was to begin with. And a gold bead is a very nice front sight. So if it shoots high, you could correct it by doing that. Now the other solution is to lower the rear sight. If we have adjustable sights, we'll lower the rear sight, and that makes us shoot lower. Well, you can't do that with fixed sights. With fixed sights, what you have is a notch in the frame, and if you file that down to lower it, then you've got to deepen the groove. Pretty soon you're going to be making a big mess there. So fixed sights aren't designed to be adjusted easily. So what can we do to make this shoot lower? And the answer is, we can do it by ammunition. So suppose we're shooting the 255 grain round nose flat point bullet, and they're shooting high. A very good correction is to go to a lighter bullet, like a 200 grain bullet. So instead of a 255 grain bullet, we go with a 200 grain bullet. It's just like the 255, but take the bottom driving band off, and you got the 200. Now by going to a lighter bullet, the lighter bullet will exit the barrel faster, so it won't shoot as high as the heavier bullet. So suppose you use the lighter bullet. This happens to be a Lee 200 grain round nose flat point instead of the Lee 255 grain round nose flat point. So use a 200 grain Lee. And suppose when we switch to a 200 grain bullet, it starts to hit lower. Well, that's what's going to happen, but still not low enough. Then the answer is to increase the powder charge. So suppose we're shooting a light cowboy load that spends a lot of time in the barrel, so the barrel's rising and throwing the bullet higher. So we use a heavier powder charge so that the velocity of the bullet exiting the barrel is quicker, so the barrel hasn't flipped up as much and it will shoot lower. So suppose this load is a 7.5 grain unique load and it's shooting high. Go to the 200 grain bullet and go to 8.5 grains of unique powder, and the lighter bullet will shoot lower and the heavier powder charge will shoot lower. Chances are you'll be able to bring your pistol right on point of aim at 25 yards by just changing the bullet and the load. So that's a quick way to adjust for fixed-sighted revolvers. But you can do that also for your adjustable revolvers. Because, for instance, suppose your adjustable sight revolver can bring it down, but by the time you brought the sight down, you've cranked it down so far that it doesn't have any more room to adjust. And you're not comfortable with your adjustable sight being cranked all the way to the end of its adjustment. While certainly you can go ahead and use a lighter bullet with a heavier powder charge, and then that'll shoot lower, which will bring you'll need to bring your sight up a little bit, and that'll give you more comfortable adjustment space in your adjustable rear sight. So you might want to use this technique for adjustable sight revolvers also, because it'll make you more comfortable with where your rear sight is. So YouTubers, give this a try. It works very well. And good luck to you when you buy fixed-sighted revolvers that at least are shooting where the windage is on. It's on in terms of left or right. It's centered in that regard. Now, one thing we didn't cover is suppose it's shooting low. If it's shooting low, then there's an easy fix for that, and that is to take a file and file the rear sight, or the front sight rather, and that'll bring your shot group up. However, you might not be comfortable doing that because that's a permanent change. To make your gun shoot higher, all you gotta do is go to the heavier bullet. So for instance, suppose you're shooting a light bullet and it's shooting low. You want to shoot higher? Go to a heavier bullet, the 255. If you're shooting a 255 grain bullet and it's shooting low, well then go to the 300 grain bullet, because it'll shoot higher, and that'll correct your low impact. So once again, the solution can be found by changing the bullet or the load or both. YouTubers out there, have a very nice day, and we'll see you at the range. Take care. Fortune Cookie 45LC. Bye for now.